One of the many ways to use variance analysis is when we're looking at sales variances and doing a target market analysis. So we're focusing on flexible budget variances. So product cost variances from manufacturing, you can have direct materials variances, labor variances, overhead variances. When we're focusing on a direct materials, that's usually a two-way analysis. You see the total price variance, or the total variance for direct materials, and the two components could be a price variance and an efficiency variance. For direct labor, again, instead of price, now it's rate variance and efficiency. So for direct materials and direct labor, there usually are just two main components each. With factory overhead, you have budget or controllable variance, and then a volume is often an uncontrollable variance. That could be a two-way variance, but it's usually better to look for more detail, because if you think about all the things that can go into overhead, all of those other non-direct costs, you can find more detail. The more components, the more things can go wrong. So you might use a three-way variance, which is a spending, an efficiency, and a volume variance combined. With sales variances, we're looking at a flexible budget variance analysis. You can have a sales volume variance, a sales mix variance, a product sales quantity variance, a market size variance, a market share variance, a selling price variance. So there are many things that could contribute to the total variance from budget to actual. So when you hear the term standard, I want you to think budget. You're comparing your budget or your standard to your actual, and that's your difference. The difference, the amount, that is the variance, and the analysis component, that's why. Why did the variance occur? So a variance analysis, you're simply explaining the dollar difference. For sales volume variance, you could have a flexible budget variance. A one-way variance analysis is usually called for. You can combine it with sales mix and sales price for a three-way variance analysis. The analysis portion is just, what am I looking for? Why did this total variance occur? And here is your calculation for a sales volume variance. It's probably best to just print off the PowerPoint and use these as reference. A sales mix variance. This will evaluate the impact of the change in sales mix from the original budgeted sales mix. Because you want to know if your strategy was effective or not. Did your total sales increase? Did they decrease? And this is the calculation for the sales mix variance. Actual product sales mix ratio minus the standard ratio. Multiply that by the actual units sold. Multiply that by the standard contribution margin per unit of that product. Remember the standard, that's the budget. You could have a product sales quantity variance, and this is you're measuring the change in the number of actual sold units from budget. You want to analyze the anticipated size of the market share. And here again, another way to calculate the product sales quantity variance. It's the actual sold of units minus the standard sold. Multiply that by the standard product sales mix ratio, and multiply that by the standard contribution margin per unit of that product. How you'll come up with that variance. What is a market size variance? This is total sales in the market of all competitors for that particular product that you're looking at. Could be due to increased market size, could be broadening the appeal to other target markets. And this is how you calculate the market size variance. Again, it's probably best to just print off the PowerPoint and take your time reviewing this. The market share variance, this measures your company's percentage of sales of a specific product compared to the entire market. Looking at different favorable and unfavorable. should you keep your current marketing strategies or change them? And the calculation. Selling price variance. This measures the aggregate impact of the selling price different from the budget. Could result from an increase or a decreased selling price. Could be a favorable or unfavorable variance. The increased price may result in decreased sales. Could alienate your customers. And this is how you calculate the selling price variance. So variance analysis using standards, the standard, remember, that's the budget. And you're going to compare your budgeted to the actually what happened. Budgeted to actual revenue, budgeted to actual expenses. And then explaining why is the variance analysis component.